Go ahead and get started. I think I hear an echo. There we go. Just got closed there. Okay, I'll call the March 3rd, 2025 City Council meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. Before we get started with our agenda, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you very much. We have a pretty brief agenda this evening, and so starting at the top, we do have a set of minutes from February 24th. Do any council members have any questions or changes to those minutes? All right, not seeing any, then those minutes will remain as submitted. Thank you. Ms. Trimble, do you have...
Can we do a quick quick roll call?
Oh my gosh, thank you. Sorry about that. Yes, roll call, please.
Anderson?
Online.
Online. Becerra?
Present.
Campbell?
Online.
Here.
Carlino?
Online as well. There he is. All right.
Yeah, I see him. Farmer?
Present.
Jones? Absent. Jordan?
Present.
Nelson?
Present.
Nugent?
Present.
Savage?
Present.
Cheryl?
Present.
And Wasika?
Present.
All right, thank you. We do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Trimble. Sorry about that. All right, great. We've got a quorum. Sounds like we have no changes to the minutes, so those will remain as submitted. And then committee schedule for Wednesday, March 5th.
No changes that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right, no changes to our committee schedule. We do not have any neighborhood council updates this evening. We do not have any public hearings this evening. So we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is our consent agenda. So items on the consent agenda were approved in city council committees to be placed on the consent agenda to save time at council meetings by voting on them as a package. The city clerk will read the list aloud so citizens watching on MCAT will know what's on the consent agenda. We'll invite community comment on these before we take a vote. So, Ms. Trimble, you'll put those on screen there. And if you'll go ahead and read those aloud, please.
All right, on this evening's consent agenda, we have a motion to approve accounts payable for checks dated March 4th, 2025, in the amount of $1,700,032.85. We also have a motion to approve that the mayor sign the FY 2025 Community Justice Department Agreement in the amount of $238,346. We have a motion to award the bid for the Mullan Build Phase 2, the George Elmer Drive, McNett Flats right-of-way improvements project for the sum of $308,000 and to authorize the return of bid bonds. We have a motion to approve the resolution ordering sidewalk, curb, gutter, and alley approach improvements without the creation of a right-of-way improvement project for owner-initiated public infrastructure improvements adjacent to miscellaneous parcels in the city for the 2024 project year, as established in Resolution Exhibit A. We have a motion to award the construction contract to Knife River for the Fairview-Benton water main replacement project at a cost not to exceed $717,412 and to authorize the return of bid bonds. We also have a motion to set a public hearing on March 24th, 2025 and preliminarily adopt an ordinance rezoning the subject property generally described as a portion of Linda Vista Estates Subdivision Phase 2, as shown on Map Exhibit A, from R5.4 residential to OP2 open and resource lands, and rezoning a portion of Linda Vista Estates Subdivision Phase 2 in the land south of Lower Miller Creek Road within Linda Vista Estates Subdivision, as shown on Map Exhibit A, from R5.4 residential to RT 5.4 residential, located in Section 13, Township 12 North, Range 20 West PMM, and refer this item to the Land Use and Planning Committee for presentation on March 12th. We have a motion to set a public hearing for March 10th, 2025 for a second 12-month extension for the interim zoning ordinance originally adopted on October 16th, 2023. And we have a motion approving a joint resolution to modify membership appointment to remove the Missoula City County and Mayor from the Food Policy Advisory Board.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any council members wishing to separate any items? Okay. Not saying that, then we'll take public comment on consent agenda. Any public comment this evening? We take public comment on items on the consent agenda. We ask that you keep those comments to 3 minutes, please. Anybody in the audience? Okay, not seeing any. Is there any public comment online on the consent agenda? I'm not seeing any online either. Then we will go ahead and take a voice vote on the consent agenda, please.
Right, on this evening's consent agenda, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
And any opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. Folks, I forgot to mention just a quick reminder, and I know you know this because it's on your calendars, but City Council members, the Public Works and Mobility Work Session will be this Wednesday from 2 until 5 p.m., and that will be held at the Water Conference Room, which is 1345 West Broadway. That is open to the public for members of the public wishing to observe that, and all that information can be located on the City Committee calendar and website. I just wanted to make sure folks have that on their radar. Should be really good. Thanks for taking the time to do that. All right, regular business. We do not have any. So then we just move to item number 10, which is the state legislature updates. And so Jessica Miller is here this evening to give us that overview, please.
Good evening, everybody. Jessica Miller with Central Services. This is going to be a busy week. Friday is the transmittal deadline for regular bills, and so that's bills that do not have appropriations or study bills or resolutions. Those have to be transmitted from one chamber to the other as of Friday. So this week, today and tomorrow, they are holding hearings, and then the rest of the week, it's pretty much marathon floor sessions where they just do second and third readings on everything to try to get it to the following chamber. After that, there will be a transmittal break, and they will resume again on Friday the 14th. So things are moving fast now, and I will have a more comprehensive report of where some of our major bills stand after transmittal. So some of the bills I want to highlight, last week I reported that Senate Bill 204, which would sunset or require us to reapprove existing voter-approved property tax levies. That one and the other bill, SB 205, had both died on the, or I believe died in committee, but then SB 204 was, I can't remember the term, powered out and brought to the floor. So that one is now alive again and up and running. There is an exception in the new version of it for fire and police and EMS services. So our existing fire levy would not fall under the bill as it is, but any future levies would still have that 10-year limit on them. House Bill 477, this one was a surprise, so I just wanted to feature it. This one would phase out use of styrofoam containers, single-use containers for restaurant use, and Representative Marler here in Missoula is the sponsor of that bill. That bill has, I believe this is the 4th session that bill has been brought forward, and this is the first time it's made it out of committee. I don't know if it'll get further than that, but I found that exciting and wanted to share. Senate Bill 254 would prohibit cities from using any expenditures on lobbying, and I believe that includes the community benefit we get from Montana League of Cities and Towns as well. And so we are testifying on that one. I believe that hearing was this afternoon, or is this afternoon. It might not actually be done yet, but we are testifying on that one. Senate Bill 405 would allow additional funding for the Housing Montana Fund. Obviously, that one helps with our housing goals. That one has a hearing tomorrow. Senate Bill 420 is challenging for us. It would limit local government fees for use of children's parks to $25 per child per month, which becomes very difficult for our sports facilities. So that one has passed out of committee, and so we're continuing to speak up on that one. And then last week, I believe I misspoke when I mentioned that Mayor Davis was going to be in Helena on Friday testifying on a bill. I believe last week I said that was House Bill 635, which was a DEI bill. The bill was actually House Bill 675, and that one is all about drag shows and liability for it. The city could be held liable for promoting or conducting anything like the Pride Parade, for example. So Mayor Davis spoke on that one last week. And that's my update, and I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Miller. Any questions from council? No? Okay. I'm not seeing any in the room. No questions from council in the room. How about online? Any members of council online that have any questions or comments in regards to legislative updates? Okay, not seeing any online, then that wraps that up pretty quickly. We'll go ahead and move on to public comment on non-agenda items then. Anybody in the room wishing to make public comment this evening on non-agenda items? Again, we leave those comments to 3 minutes, please. Come on up.
What about US Today? Will you give that a nice realizing to your presentation? Big K, Montana.
Thanks, Mr. And would you go ahead and pull that microphone? Thanks, Big K. Appreciate that. There you go.
The notoriety of US Today got recognized at Great Falls, of all places. So let's move on to the condominiums that are propping up along the river on Broadway. 1, 2, 3 are moving along. What caught my attention, somebody was sending out signals from one of the condominiums. How are we gonna put a damper or a kibosh to the condominiums on Broadway? River frontage, they're sprouting up. What about the island? How are we gonna restrict that? And another perspective is there any encampments that are prospectively regarding to circumstances of taking care of themselves appropriately? And if there is, let's promote those prospectively, that campsites are not going to be totally eliminated. Those that are regardful of the circumstances, like the neighborhoods of the Missoula, should be regarded and prospectively regarded. I didn't say promoted, respectively regarded, and let's promote that. And those that are not, well, that's what we got the front end loader for. And let's have them pick up their campsite and put it into the front end loader. Instead of the city employees, they could watch them. And maybe that word will get out to the fact of the matter. Johnson Center was in the whisper of that rich man's development would like to go. Will rich man development build another facility that would house the numbers, that takes the pressure off the Poverello and gives those types of individuals a community of how we are greatly glad they're not part of the voting community. Because if they were the voting community, wow. The whispers that, or the conversations that are in that facility, you people should eavesdrop on them. Maybe you'd have a better perspective. Otherwise, Missoula's looking really great. I certainly would not want to go back to Salt Lake City as well as it's looking Missoula. Thank you.
Thank you, Big K. Anybody else for public comment this evening? Not seeing any in the audience here. Is there anybody online that wishes to make public comment on items not on the agenda? All right, not seeing any online either. All right. That wraps up then our public comment on non-agenda items. So we'll move on to communications from the mayor. I'll keep it brief. Thank you, Big K, for recognizing my recognition in USA Today's 2025 Women of the Year. I was extraordinarily honored and humbled for that recognition. It was something that I was notified that was coming. I didn't know when it was going to hit the news, and it did last week, and it was really something. So really appreciative and honored to be in that amazing group of women leaders from around the country in all sorts of different sectors doing their work to improve their community. It's great to see. That's how a lot of stuff happening on the local level. As Jessica said, I was in Helena for Municipal Day at the Capitol. It's a function put on by the Montana League of Cities and Towns, in addition to the local government center at MSU, Montana State University. And it's always useful, of course, to be in the Capitol, being able to visit with folks one-on-one. A few of the bills I did have a chance to testify on included a bill that would have allowed any property owner to vote on bonds or levies, no matter if that property owner was a resident of the community or the state. So I did speak in opposition to that, because I feel like that's not something that is representative of the community's interests when you have a property owner from out of state that may wish to exercise their vote on that. House Bill 675 was, the title was something like hypersexualization of public events or something of that nature. And it really puts the city in a rock and a hard place, because if this bill was to pass and we were to uphold the bill, then we would be potentially violating people's First Amendment rights for freedom of expression. If we didn't issue the permit, if we issued the permit, then obviously we'd be against the law with the state. So I was happy to speak against that. While at the Capitol, there was a union rally there to rally against the right to work bill, and that right to work bill was yet again voted down. So that was good to see. Several other conversations there just about local option tourist tax that is being worked on, and it was heard today, and I'm sorry, I don't know the status of that, but just taking a look at what some alternative options might be for property tax relief for our constituents. So was certainly speaking with legislators and trying to encourage keeping those things moving along. I did want to mention that the North MRL Triangle Community Workshop, the first one of, I think, 3 workshops, will be held this Wednesday, March 5th, and that will be at Stockman Bank, 3615 Brook Street. And this is working with basically a planning consulting agency to help visualize what might be the future potential for the North MRL Triangle. And as you recall, this was a timeline that was set out by resolution by City Council for us to have started this planning process starting in the fall of 25, which the consultant process was started then, and now they're underway. And so folks are encouraged to attend. There will be 3 workshops. This is an open house format, but folks are encouraged to attend. And that is where I will leave it. That's all the comments that I have, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to council comments this evening. How about we start in the room with Councilor Nugent?
Thank you, Mayor Davis. First of all, Carl, you stole my thunder. I was going to congratulate the mayor on behalf of the council, but
Oh, thanks.
it's fine. I also appreciate you being in Helena, speaking to our legislative delegation who sometimes maybe doesn't understand how local government works and how our funding works. And I would just put the invitation out to anybody of either party if they want to learn more about how local budgets work. I'm happy to sit down with anybody and discuss it, because funding is complicated and it is tight, and some of the ideas that are coming out of Helena aren't going to help anybody.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. One of those is, I believe, is Senate Bill 254. I've been waiting to speak on this for about 3 hours. And so President Cheryl and I have worked out that I will hand over the gavel for the meeting in this moment, and I'm going to go ahead and speak to that now. So I apologize for not listening to everybody's comments this evening, but I'll look forward to catching up here shortly. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so I guess I'm taking over here. Mr. Melson, thanks.
Thanks, Madam President. I'll pass tonight.
Mirta?
Just an announcement for the public. The Metropolitan Planning Organization has been working on a safety action plan for Reserve Street. And there are 2 open houses coming up. One is tomorrow, March 4th, at 4 p.m. at the Hellgate Elementary School cafeteria in Building 3, I think. And another one on Wednesday. So the public can participate and provide feedback on issues of transportation concern along Reserve Street. So I would encourage anyone who is a user of Reserve Street or lives nearby to participate if they can. Thanks.
Great, thanks. Ms. Farmer?
I'll just say congratulations to the mayor for your award. Very inspiring and very well deserved. And I have nothing else after that.
Thanks. Ms. Savage?
Yes, congratulations, Mayor. That was really cool to read that day. You were among good company too. Yeah, that was awesome. And just a reminder that kindergarten registration is open at Missoula County Public Schools. Started today, so if you have a kid who's going to be 5 by September 10th, you can register them now for kindergarten. Thanks.
Great, thanks. So I'm just going to go around based on seating. So is Ms. Jones online? I don't think she is, because she is trying to testify as well. Daniel, are you online? Would you like to comment?
I can pass tonight, but thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, great. And Ms. Anderson, would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks so much, President Cheryl, for taking over. It was lovely to see the mayor in Helena. I spent a good part of last week in Helena, and her and I were able to chat with some of our delegation, and I really appreciate what Mr. Nugent had to say. It is session is fast and furious, and it's 90 days, and there are thousands of bills, but the impacts that some of the decisions that are being made in that building and how they affect our communities and our constituents and our ability to really do our jobs well, it is sometimes being affected and curtailed in not positive ways. And so encourage the community to engage. Definitely happy to talk about the budget, property taxes, all the fun things. But yeah, I just encourage folks to pay attention, because we only have a legislative session once every other year. And there's $1 billion surplus. And just think about what we could do with that money to really impact the lives of the most vulnerable in our community, and just the overall attacks on basic freedoms. And, Montana is a very live and let live state. And I think that some folks in the legislature have forgotten that and forgotten that public service is really supposed to be looking out for everybody, from the least among us to those who have been privileged with a lot. So appreciate all the hard work from the folks who are doing the right things. Special shout out to Missoula Owns Representative Katie Sullivan. She is the House Minority Leader this legislative session, and that is no small task. And she's doing what she can to fight the good fight, and make sure that that we come out in a better place where there are opportunities to do so. And it is no easy task. So just want to take this moment to really appreciate her and all of her hard work. And it's going to be an insane week. And so if you see our legislators here in Missoula next week during their break, tell them thank you. And if they have any questions about municipal government, how it's run, the delicate Jenga tower it is, they know where to find us. Thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. And I will do that. Thank you to Katie Sullivan, as well as a shout out to the mayor. I was excited about seeing her recognition. Ms. Jordan.
I'll pass, thanks.
And I think the next is Mr. Campbell, and he is not with us tonight. Ms. Vasika.
I'll pass, thank you.
Okay, great. Well, that wraps it up. That was not a very hard meeting for me to run at the very end, and we will be adjourned at 6:27.